FM.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Starr Midday News. And coming up in the bulletin, President John Dramani Mahama sets in motion efforts to resolve recurrent Boku crisis as he pays a visit to the area.
Vigilance down. There should be no vacuum, and so you must all continue to work, as the CDS said, zealously to make sure that there's no breach of the peace in the country.
Also in the bulletin, Finance Minister designates Dr. Kasia Latofosin reaffirms commitment of the NDC administration to reintroduce road tolls to generate revenue for road maintenance.
We have not run away from that fact. If the road toll is a way to raise revenue, we'll raise the revenue. And the road toll, if you use the road.
Residents in the Volta regional capital Ho appeal for help following acute water shortage in the area.
We've had water shortage in and around Ho for about close to 2 weeks now, and it's really frustrating. We are tired of living without water.
Water issue here in the whole municipality is not easy at all. We are really suffering.
And later on, National Health Insurance Authority backs promise by President John Dramani Mahama to uncap the NHIS. Details of these stories and many more coming up shortly. Stay tuned in. Starr News is coming to you live on Ultimate 106.9 FM in Kumasi, Empire 102.7 FM in Takrady, Zeps 95.9 FM in Zebila, Nissim 100.1 FM in Lamshao, My Star Radio in the USA. Also live on Facebook on Starr 103.5 FM and on starfm.com.gh around the world. This is Starr 103.5 FM. Starr News. Informed, in depth, in touch. Starr News is coming to you live on Ultimate 106.9 FM in Kumasi, Empire 102.7 FM in Takrady, Zeps 95.9 FM in Zebila, Nissim 100.1 FM in Lamshao, My Star Radio in the USA. Also live on Facebook on Starr 103.5 FM and on starfm.com.gh around the world. This is Starr 103.5 FM. Starr News. Informed, in depth, in touch. You're welcome once again to the Starr Midday News on Starr 103.5 FM here in Accra. My name is Dedei Tettey. Let's get into the details of the stories now. We're starting off with issues relating to security in the country in general and also particularly in the Boku area. Well, President John Dramani Mahama, he has set in motion efforts to resolve the recurrent Boku conflict. Now, the president this morning departed to the area to engage stakeholders on finding a lasting solution to the conflict, which has claimed many lives. Well, ahead of this trip, the president met with various security heads in relation to the general security in the country, especially the violence that we have seen in the country post-election December 7, 2024. Have a listen to the president.
I want to thank you for the good work. This last election has cemented our reputation as the leading democracy in Africa, and a good part of the thanks go to you, the security services, who have maintained the peace. We still have threats to our peace that we must continue to look at internally and externally. Internally, to do with chieftaincy disputes and some incidents of armed robbery and things like that. Externally, to do with the threats on our northern borders. And so we cannot let our vigilance down. There should be no vacuum. And so you must all continue to work, as the CDS said, zealously to make sure that there's no breach of the peace in the country. And so I want to thank you for all the work you're doing. We're working hard to set up the Council of State so that we can start to put the controlling boards of all the services and all the government parastatals in place. And so once we have the Armed Forces Council and the Prisons Council and all of them set up, all your service councils, we're sure that we'll begin to look at how to manage things in respect of any outstanding issues that exist. But in the meantime, I expect you all to work very closely together like you've been doing and continue to keep the country safe for all of us. And so I want to thank you for attending to our call at quite short notice and to ask you to continue to work in the interests of the people of Ghana.
So that is President John Dramani Mahama there in that engagement with the various security capos in the country. As we do know, right after that meeting, he made his way to the airport to depart for Boko. I've been joined in the studio by my colleague Abdul Hanan Adam, who has been following the president. Hanan, so what exactly would the president be expected to be doing when he gets to Boko?
Well, he's expected to meet with the Boku Naba, who is the head of the Boku traditional area, or the Kusa traditional area. That is how they are best described. And he's expected to have some discussions with him together with some stakeholders in the industry, security space, I must say, who have been engaging both factions to ensure that there's lasting peace in the area. From there, he's expected to move from the Upper East region and make his way to Northeast region, where he will be engaging the Nairi, who is also the head of the Mamprogo area, because the issue there is between the Mamprogo and the Kusases, who have been fighting over the Boko chieftaincy over the last, 50 to 60 years. And so he's expected to meet them, initiate dialogue, and after that ensure that there's some reconciliation in the area. And remember, this is a campaign promise that he made to the Nairi himself when he visited the palace in Nalerugu when he was campaigning to become president. And again, he made the same pledge to the chief of Boko when he visited him in Boko during the electioneering campaign.
All right. Thank you very much, Abdul Hanan Adam, bringing us the details in relation to the president's visit to the Boko area. You're still listening to the Star Midday News on Star 103.5 FM. Let's remain with issues relating to some form of security and things connected to President John Dramani Mahama. This one has to do with the various market fires that we have witnessed for the past few weeks. Very troubling. Well, President John Dramani Mahama, he has proposed the deployment of fire tenders at night and installation of CCTV surveillance for major markets across the country. Now, according to him, this forms part of a broader strategy to enhance market security and protect livelihood. Now, addressing leadership of the Kantamanto market during a meeting following a devastating fire that destroyed hundreds of shops in Accra's Central Business District, John Dramani Mahama explained that the move is to ensure quick responses to emergencies and aiding in investigations.
We held a meeting with the security heads today to see how we can tighten security around all the major markets in order to prevent any such occurrence. Just this morning we heard about Tettey market too, a fire in Tettey market. So it looks like it's something that is going to continue, and so we need to take quick steps. And so I've asked the security to arrange with the various security services to tighten security around major markets. In addition to that, we're asking the National Fire Service in the nights, because these fires take place in the night, and that's what gives us room for suspicion that there are people who are deliberately doing this. In the daytime, you don't hear that there's a fire anywhere. How the fire fire can decide that it's only in the night that it ignites and burns. I mean, it's beyond anybody's imagination. And so the second is we are asking the fire service where there are major markets to deploy their fire tenders close to the markets in the night, so that in the event of a fire outbreak, they are right there on the scene to be able to quench it before it causes any damage. We're also asking them to explore installing CCTV cameras at all vantage points of every market, so that if anybody is involved in setting fire to markets, we'll be able to see on the CCTV what is happening.
You had the President John Dramani Mahama. We have been engaging security analyst Adib Sani on this proposal to have CCTVs installed at the various markets. This is what he has been saying.
Fire tenders find it very difficult to even access where the fire is because of the poorly planned nature of the markets. Accessibility is almost non-existent. So I would have thought that the government would have taken this opportunity to rebuild the market itself into a multi-layered, multi-structured story building. By so doing, you'll be able to have all the security protocols in place, including fire protocols, CCTVs, and the rest. But the way it is, and if it does come up so again, it will be almost impossible to have CCTV cameras installed. The only thing you can do is to install the CCTV cameras at vantage points. You don't even see the sky. You don't even see the sun. So how would you install CCTV? Because if you install CCTV that towers over the market, it will only be looking at the roofing sheets. You will not see anything. All right. So I think that is what should be done. And now we have cameras that have artificial intelligence that can detect smoke, and that has been tried and tested in countries where they have issues with bushfires. Okay, so they install it. If it sees any element of smoke, it's able to report to a central location. And so if we leverage on modern day technology, I think it can help to a very large extent. But primarily, we should also maintain some level of footprints, intelligence footprints on the ground to gather information. It is possible that some of these fires is arson as a result. If you have intelligence assets on the ground, you'll be able to detect some of these things, so you take preemptive measures before they even happen in the first place.
You heard the security analyst Adib Sani sharing his thoughts about installing CCTV cameras at our various markets. You're still listening to the Star Midday News on Star 103.5 FM, and we'll still remain with the issues relating to the president and some of the things he's been talking about. This one has to do with health, and the National Health Insurance Authority, they have backed the promise by President John Dramani Mahama to uncap the NHIS. Now, the president gave the promise during the National Prayer and Thanksgiving service. President Mahama further explained that uncapping the NHIS levy is a crucial step towards equipping the National Health Insurance Authority with sufficient funds. Have a listen to him.
To prioritize healthcare, ensuring that every Ghanaian, no matter their location or economic status, has access to quality medical care. In this regard, we'll compile an inventory of all uncompleted health facilities and prepare a plan and program to complete and operationalize these. To improve access to health care for all our people, we will in the next budget uncap the National Health Insurance Levy. This is important so that the National Health Insurance Authority can have sufficient funds to reimburse health service providers for the care that they provide to the public.
You heard the President John Dramani Mahama. Well, manager of the health scheme says that the decision is laudable. Here are details of the statement issued.
The management of the National Health Insurance Authority, and on behalf of the millions of Ghanaians who rely on the National Health Insurance Scheme for quality health care, wish to extend our profound gratitude to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, President of the Republic of Ghana, for fulfilling the promise to uncap the NHIA budget approved by Parliament annually. This decisive action announced at the National Prayer and Thanksgiving Service held at the Ohini Kunedu Auditorium at the University of Professional Studies, Accra, over the weekend, marks a significant turning point in the scheme's history. By removing the budgetary cap, the government has demonstrated its unwavering commitment to strengthening Ghana's healthcare system and ensuring sustainable funding for the NHIS. The NHIA stands ready to collaborate with all stakeholders to maximize the benefits of this critical intervention for the collective good of our nation. Once again, we express our heartfelt appreciation to the President for this landmark decision.
You heard the details of a statement issued by the National Health Insurance Authority commending that promise by the President to uncap the NHIS levy. You're still listening to the Star Midday News on Star 103.5 FM. Let's turn our attention to the vetting that took place yesterday. Well, walkouts by the minority, doubling down on positions, and a whole lot of interruptions. Now, this was the chaotic but captivating backdrop of the 2025 ministerial vetting for the first batch of appointees under the Mahama administration. One nominee endured a grilling that lasted over 4 hours without a break, a clear reflection of the high stakes and fierce scrutiny at play, as the opposition party stood firm in their opposition, refusing to give ground. The governing party's nominees countered with promises of change and accountability. Now, the tension in the room was palpable, with every question feeling like a potential political minefield. Now, we bring you highlights of what unfolded at yesterday's vetting.
I understand that you may have a high-pitched voice. However, I will plead with you. The way you came across as shouting on him, it happened in Honorable Abina Osayasari, you did it to Honorable Samir Wuku, and it's happened.
Honorable Leader, with all due respect, I indulge non-members of the committee to ask a question.
The 10 billion big push policy. The economy must grow in spite of all of this. Ghana's economy must grow. 10 billion over 4 years gives you 2.5 billion. The outgoing government, the immediate past government, Agenda 111, has left behind 1.5 billion for us to complete Agenda 111.
Honourable Minister Designate, my last question. What are your primary objectives, or what do you want the country to remember you for? Within the next 4 years, I pray to God you are not reshuffled in the energy sector. That
I want to approach this work with integrity, hard work, but with humility. I'll do my best. I know it's difficult, but I'm confident that given the array of people around, including those of you on this table, I'll consult all of you and do what is right and proper. But let me make it clear that will ensure that there's discipline in that sector.
I do not see why we should be locking horns on this one. But however, if you insist,
all members, I insist. What I would do if Parliament gives me the nod is to overhaul the law relating to the public tribunals by bringing a new bill that I will introduce rapidly, because the President has hit the road running, and we, his nominees and his appointees, are his, supplementary wheels. We have to help him, to run as fast as possible.
Those are highlights of yesterday's vetting of the three ministers designates, that of finance and energy, and the final one being the Attorney Generals and Ministry of Justice. I've been joined in the studio by our Parliamentary Affairs correspondent, Ibrahim Alassan, with some more in relation to what transpired in Parliament yesterday. And Ibrahim, what were some of the highlights? I mean, we've brought some of the things to our listeners, but what were some of the other things that stood out for the various sectors?
Well, the room was too small for everybody, right? And then there were full soldiers still there in the west of Alexander Kwame Nafili Market. That did not go down well with the audience and people who had come there to support the nominees at all. And so he had to take the intervention of leadership. I had to calm them down. The place was very hot because there were some of the air conditioners dysfunctioning. Hopefully, for the rest of the 57, either they go to a spacious place or they limit their numbers or they get their conditioners fixed. Aside that, yes, Kesela Tufosen doctor endured the longest ever any leader has ever been subjected to vetting at the appointments committee. It's never happened before. But of course, you heard that as an appointment can relate to the fact that...
Is it longer than Martin Amidou's? Martin Amidou's was a very long one.
Okay, so I'm talking about a leader.
Okay.
You see, you know, there are special dispensations for leaders. Okay. In fact, the shortest vetting I've ever witnessed is Sarah Joasafo.
Okay, yes, it was very brief. It was under an hour.
Exactly. And so there's this convention of convincing themselves that you qualify to be an MP. Not just that, you are equally qualified to be a leader of a caucus, and for that matter, leader of the House. What else is there that should be extracted from you before you are allowed to occupy any other portfolio? Okay. And so, yes, but you heard us coming up relate to the fact that we've also never had a leader go to the finance ministry. Okay. So it's because of the portfolio. Nonetheless, he was vetted for close to 5 hours without a break. Usually they will take a break and then, yes, but without a break. Okay. Aside that, the back and forth and what have you, you could say that Bernard Ahiafo, the first deputy speaker, was still warming up to his new role as the chairman of the appointments committee. It's unfair to directly compare him to Joseph Osewusu, who had done this well over 8 years.
And it's a first day.
It's the first day. So as time went on, he warmed himself up, but there are still many who believe that he would have been much more assertive. Okay. We'll look at the second day to find out whether lessons have been learned overall and in general. But of course, we talked about a walkout. That didn't look like a walkout, yes, but of course, there were disagreements on the floor. Alexander Kwame Afunimakin led some of his charges, the leaders. So he, Patricia Apieji, Patrick Yabuama, and then a few others walked out. But guess what? Subsequently, they came back and then the vetting continued. Okay. From what I gather, nobody's working out anyway. Okay. They will all be part of the vetting.
All right. Thank you very much, Ibrahim Alasan. Let me quickly go to Nanama Aqua with some of your reactions on social media to the first day of vetting. Nanama, what are people saying with regard to how the vetting committee fared, as well as the various nominees that showed up?
Well, now the main focus of people's writings and musings was Alexander Afenyomarkin. I'm sticking with Instagram because the comments were quite a lot. We have Ajwa who says, please make sure that it will start with your previous administration. We are still waiting for multiple investigations. Benjamin asks, how can you blame a 2-week government for a power crisis? So MPP as a party has not learned anything after their embarrassing defeat. MPP will be in opposition for a very long time. Kingsley adds, Charlie, this man is overdoing it. Today this, tomorrow that, sit somewhere, let the new government work. We saw what you did in your government. And then Rolanda says, hey, the name honorable is not for everyone, Ampa. Yao says, uncle, feel the atmosphere and tone down a bit. Anwar says, you are calling Mahama's administration as a doomsday administration, but you don't want to be called a micro-minority. We have Akushika. In his mind, he's making these things difficult for the NDC, but doesn't know he's showing his biased skills. Was he able to tell the NPP all of this? We also have talking about Atto Forsen's response on the toll booths coming back. Our last comment here. The toll, no dear. I don't even know why Nana Addo removed it and pressed us with unnecessary taxes. But please, my reason is that wherever there is a toll booth, please reconstruct the road, especially Tema Motorway. There's so many more comments, but this is all we have time for. My name is Nanama Akwana. Back over to you.
Thank you very much, Nanama Akwa, bringing us the details with regard to what people are talking about on social media in relation to yesterday's vetting. Tons of reaction. You're still listening to the Star Midday News. Let's move on to some other stories. And the finance minister designates Dr. Cassiel Atto Forsen has reaffirmed the commitment of the Mahama-led administration to reintroduce road tolls to generate revenue for road maintenance. The road tolls had been abolished prior to the implementation of the e-levy. Now, speaking during his vetting before Parliament's Appointment Committee, Dr. Forson emphasized that the NDC has always supported road toll collection, road tolls, and intends to restore it.
Mr. Chairman, the NDC indicated from day one that the road toll will come back. We are not running away from it. In fact, the Honorable Haruna Idrisu, at the time, the minority leader, said that the NDC promises to bring back the road toll. The Hansard will bear us out. We have not run away from that fact. So, I can assure you, we are a party that sticks to our promises. And whatever we have promised to do, we'll do just that. If the road toll is a way to raise revenue, we'll raise the revenue. And the road toll, if you use the road, you have to pay a toll. And it's all over the world. Ghana won't be the first country, won't be the last one. You have to contribute towards the road maintenance.
You have the Finance Minister designate Dr. Kasiela Tofos. Let's go over the telephone line and speak to Obed King Gaglo. He has been crisscrossing the capital to find out the situation or the condition of some of our road tolls. Let's get over the telephone line and speak to him. Obed, where exactly are you, and from what you see, what can you tell us?
Right, so Dedei, the introduction of the road toll brought a lot of reactions by drivers who ply the motorway. I've been speaking to some of them, and they say that since the government has no intention to reintroduce it, they do not have any other option but to pay. And they believe that if the motor will be used for its purpose, that is developing the roads, they will be able to pay. But others also say that they will not like to pay because it's been removed and the status quo should remain. I am at the motorway, the Tema motorway, where we all are aware that the road toll area is not in good shape and drivers who get here get past freely. Let me interact with one lady who has been driving here over the years and find out from her what she makes about the reintroduction of the road toll. You're live on Starr FM. What do you make of the reintroduction of the road toll by the NDC administration?
I think bringing it back is good. It will help people who are not working when they cancel it. And also, I think bringing it back will cost us to, it will cost us because we've paid taxes and then now they have destroyed all the all the places, the toll centers. They've destroyed everywhere. So bringing it back, it's good. They are bringing it back, but at the same time, it will cost Ghanaians.
Are you willing to pay as a road user?
Oh, sure. I think we all pay taxes, and everything that we do, we pay taxes. And we have other country people, like people who pass through Togo, Ghana to go to Burkina Faso, and they pass freely without paying any toll. It's not right. So it's all helping developing our country. So I think it's good they are bringing it.
Thank you very much. So now that now the road user here
all right,
expressing her opinion about the reintroduction of the road toll.
All right. Thank you very much, Obed King Gaglo. We'll bring you more on that on our subsequent bulletins. Let's now quickly touch base with the sports team. Jones Haji is here. Good afternoon to you, Jones. What's in sports?
All right, good afternoon. We start off from athletics, where Ghana's 100 meters athlete Benjamin Azamati, who represented the nation at the 13th African Games and the Paralympic Games, has asked government to show support to athletes who have to find jobs alongside train to stay fit. The national 100 meters record holder, who was speaking on GH1 TV's The Game Show, says most athletes are unable to reach their peak when they have to fend for themselves.
Helping them get into competitions and making sure we're taking care of them, because I know the scholarship ends right after the school is done, and so they have to cater for themselves. I mean, they have to find for jobs. And whilst you're working and then you're trying to train and represent the country, it becomes a little bit hard for you, the athletes. And then, as I said, for you to be at peak performance, you have to really, really take good care of your body, taking massages, having your nutrition right, and all these has to do with money. And so if you really, really want these guys to, do well for the country, I think those are the times that gap right after the NCAA season is done is where we have to, take the athletes and then take good care of them and prepare them for the competition that's ahead.
Kasim Bengal has been appointed as the new head coach of Ghana's under-23 team, the Black Meteors. All right, now that on the game today, we would be hosting World Cup winner Daniel Nia J on the game at 1 p.m. My name is Jones Aji.
You're very stubborn. Good afternoon, and thank you very much, Jones, for bringing us the very latest in the world as well. Now, just before we go, residents in the Volta regional capital who are appealing for help to address issues of acute water shortage in the area. Some of them have been speaking to Star News. Have a listen.
We've had water shortage in and around Ho for about close to 2 weeks now, and it's really, really frustrating. We are tired of living without water. You have to walk to a distant place somewhere to get well water for basic needs. Sometimes you even have to skip shower, or you have to deliberate between using the water for shower or using it for something else. And you always have to worry about whether the water that is even available will be enough for the rest of the family to use. It's really, really frustrating. We urge our leaders or whoever is in charge to speed up with whatever they are doing to make sure that water is available for all of us to use.
Okay, so the water crisis here in the whole township is really affecting us, like general, because water is a very essential part in every order. It's an essential part for us humans, because it's sometimes hectic for you to get water, access to water, and have to go to work. It's really hectic, and also the stress for you to be able to get 1 bucket of water is really a problem here in the water. Consider the fact that we are also in the dry season. The walls are also dry, so where you can get water from is maybe when you wake up early at dawn to be able to get access to the water. Even there, you have to join a long queue, and also the food vendors in general, so they are complaining because they can't get water to prepare food, and also we also need food in their daily lives. So that's it.
Water issue here in the whole municipality is not easy at all. We are really suffering. We have to use other means, some which are not unhealthy, before we can get water to use. They said the pump is spoiled and they are working on it. So we are still expecting that they will finish as quickly as possible so that we can have water to use.
You had some residents in the Volta regional capital who are expressing their concerns with the acute water shortage in the area and appealing to government for help. As we do understand, the residents there have been without water for over 2 weeks, and the Ghana Water Company has been attributing the challenge to ongoing repair works. And that will be it for the Star Midday News on Star 103.5 FM. For more news, do log on to starfm.com.gh. My name is Dedei. Thank you so much for your company. Have a good afternoon.